Miriam, I want to thank you for the purchase of one of our 32-ounce mugs. It means a lot whenever someone supports us by buying one of our pieces, but we have a lot of fun making it, so it's twofold for us on the reward. But basically, this video, it's a full explanation of what all is going on through the entire creation of the mug. At this point in the video, I'm just measuring out clay, taking away some of the clay right now to get it down to 3 pounds. It sounds like a lot of clay, but in the end, well, this is actually a very big piece, but in the end, I'll end up trimming out a lot from the foot area to create that unique looking pedestal foot that we do have on the bottom of the mug. Excuse the hoodie, it is about 40 degrees in my garage/workshop, so it was very cold. And then this is the wedging process. I went ahead and sped this up. This took about probably 10 minutes to fully wedge this piece and get it where it needed to be. So I sped that up by like 1400%. This is what you call slap wedging. This is just the final step to get it into the shape that you want to throw with. Some people get it more into a cone shape. I prefer a sphere. So it's just whatever the preference is. Now we've moved over to the wheel. At this point, you just want to wet your surface slightly for the clay so it sticks. And then we'll begin the throwing process. The first portion of this is the centering, just patting it down to get it more center before I get my hands wet. You really don't want any water getting below the clay, in between the clay and the bat. It might loosen up and actually slip off from time to time. So at this point in time, this is centering. This is just basically coning up, pushing back down. This process gets the clay molecules in a very specific order and also gives a lot of strength to the clay. At this point in time, I'm just centering the piece, getting it to the size of basically a puck that I want to work with. And then we're going to get back to normal speed, and this is whenever I actually find the center of the clay and I sink my finger in there to begin the throwing process itself. After the center's found and I get to the depth that I want to throw to, I'll then pull straight against the palm of my hand with my fingertip and open that clay up. At this point in time, I'm going to start making sure that top edge is nice and secure and pressed down firmly. As you pull, from time to time, you want to press that top edge down to make sure that you're not getting any clay separation and that you have a nice strong top edge of the wall. Next step, I'm going to start bringing up the walls. This will be done in multiple steps. You never really want to do it all in one huge pull. That can lead to uneven throwing of a wall. You'll get one thick side, one thin side. I left this whole section at normal speed so you can see how long it actually takes to throw a piece. This piece actually has a slight wobble. It's nothing to do with the actual pot. The bat itself, within the frame on the wheel, it was too small, and so it was actually shaking around. I threw it out after this, but that was just something. It's always a learning process in clay making and throwing. This is a tool I've created. It actually has all the measurements for the piece on there. I use it to gauge the height, and I'm also about to use it to set the foot. You'll see there's a small decorative element that we include on towards the base of the mug that the bottom edge of that stick actually helps me with. And this is that process of pressing down that top edge just to make sure it's nice and strong whenever it finally fires. As I mentioned earlier, this is where I actually use that tool to create that foot decorative element. All it's doing is scraping the clay up from the base and forcing it back against the body into this nice half sphere shape going all the way around. I also use it to clean the excess liquid clay from the side of the mug. I did that by resting it against the whole wall and pressing from the inside out. Any pauses you see me leaning away from the wheel, I'm basically cleaning a tool off and a bucket of water I have off to my side. At this stage, I'm basically cleaning up the excess liquid from the inside and pressing down the bottom on the inside to make sure it has a nice strong foundation to the mug. Once again, securing that top edge, making sure it's nice and strong once it's finally fired. This prevents any sort of cracking or splitting in the firing process and afterwards once it's in use. At this point in time, the piece has been thrown, and I am just working on final cleanup. I think the final thing I'm about to do is address the base by scraping up some excess clay. Just checking that final height. This one is about an eighth of an inch taller than I normally throw, maybe a quarter an inch. But that's all within my tolerance. I do appreciate an ever so slight variance in between all of our pieces. They're all unique. They're just like humans. We're all different. And I do embrace that, but for the most part, it is exactly how all the other ones are thrown. Now I'm pulling it off, and we're going to put it on the shelf to let it dry. This piece has to be dried for 2 days. The top part will dry for about a day, then I'll wrap it up in plastic, and the final bottom will be ready to trim in about 2 days.